You're watching Cheery TV.
Howdy everybody, and welcome back to Stranded Deep, a conversation where I yawn because I'm already bored. No, but where we talk about whatever it may be, whether it makes sense or not. And today, it's not going to make sense. This is a weird topic. We're talking about the Star War. So, I'm not even gonna, I don't know how long this episode's gonna be. It's kind of just a dumb one, because I couldn't think of any good ideas, but I have some now, so next week's gonna be great. This week, though, we're talking about the Star War. This can be taken in a few ways, I guess. No This Week in Retail, by the way. Is there anything about This Week in Retail? No. There's nothing This Week in Retail. I can't think of anything important that happened. I guess kinda. Sorry, yawn. I mean, I always yawn a lot, so there's really no. I don't feel bad at all, actually. But ow. Oh, well, yesterday, there was a giant balloon that like fell off its string and was just kind of just floating, stuck up on the ceiling. And I had to get it down, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll get it. This seems easy enough. I'll just get a ladder, I'll get the broom, I'll get a stick, and I'll go dink. But one of my coworkers was like, hey, we have like a much longer stick in the back room. We used to like push some stuff down our like baler, just because sometimes the boxes get stuck. And he's like, we could just put tape on that, and then bam. Easy peasy, right as rain, done and dusted. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I don't have to use the ladder. It'll be a lot easier, probably. Yeah, sure. So I grab the stick, I put the tape, and I go wha-tunk, and that tape doesn't stick for shit. That tape did not even try to stick to that balloon, because it was a really big one, and it was a weird shape, so it couldn't really get a good grip on it. So all I really wound up doing was just smacking it around for a little bit, and I eventually smacked it into another aisle, so I had to go to the next aisle and start doing it again, and then it happened again, and I was like, fuck this. So I just started beating it over to the front of the store, where it would hopefully be a little bit easier to get. I don't know how or why, but that was my process at the time. And so I'm just smacking it over there, all the while still trying to kind of get it to cling to the tape, because that does work. It's just it usually works for smaller balloons. This one's a fucking massive birthday cupcake balloon, so it wasn't really cooperating very well. Oh god, I hope you guys hear that, by the way. That's my neck. Very good neck. I have a solid neck. But yeah. So I smack the balloon all the way over, and I get it towards the front, and then I'm trying to like show my coworker this didn't fucking work at all. And then right as I'm about to like enter our little section of the store, it somehow clings itself on like the one sort of loose part of the balloon, and as I go to bring the stick down, it brings the balloon down with it. And I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. So I grab it. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's a lot of yawning. But I grab the balloon, and right as I grab it, my coworker looks up and he's like, oh hey, it worked. And I'm like, it sure did, because he didn't see me smacking the balloon for like 3 minutes straight. He just assumed I would have got it, and I did. So he assumed correctly, I guess, is what I should be saying. But it was just funny. It was stupid. And I'm like, yeah, no, that didn't work really at all. And apparently I just didn't put a tape on correctly. I don't know how that makes sense or works, apparently. If I drink some of this delicious water. I already brushed my teeth. I thought that would have woke me up enough, but it woke me up enough to get up. It's like 9. I'm actually on top of things. I already recorded one thing for today, the Cannibal Crossing quickie. I mean, not just Cannibal Crossing quickie. I talk about another story that I kind of already told before. Hope you guys are enjoying those, by the way. I guess we can talk about that before we get into the topic. I'm having a lot of fun with those. They're just quick little stories. I like the little stories. And honestly, it's like playing Cannibal Crossing, so it's honestly a win-win. There's too many games I want to play. I find that a problem. There's too many games that I want to play. I want to play Death Road to Canada again, but that's a lot. I want to play Cannibal Crossing again, but that's also a lot. It's just a lot of games that I find, and I just don't have the time to play on the channel, which is a shame. I probably one of these days I'm gonna go live on like one of my days off, and I'm just going to play like a million games. I did that a couple times, and it's pretty fun. But I guess, but either way, I had a Cannibal Crossing itch, and also had like little stories I wanted to tell. So I was like, fuck it. Because a lot of these stories I have already spoke about before, like the lizard, probably some of the car stuff. The Warframe stuff was fucking hilarious. I don't know. I think that is what started me being like, I have to talk about this. But I don't. It's only one thing. I can't spend 40 minutes talking about this. And then it happened again, so I probably could have. if I just stuck with it, that could have been the topic for today. But I'm happy though. Like, those were really fucking funny. And again, the thumbnail for Sloppy Warframe Toppy is probably my favorite thumbnail I've made, just cause, just me creeping up on the bottom there. It's just really fucking funny to me. Oh, where did I go? Ooh, water is delicious. I'm gonna crush the bottle. That might be a little loud, but I need to make room in my trash can, so I got one of those tiny ones, which I feel like is a decent size for anybody but me. I don't know why, but I feel like this family, my family in particular, produces a lot more trash than the average. But I can't exactly confirm that because I've not been a part of anyone else's family, so yeah, doesn't really help that much. But either way, hope you're all enjoying the content. I'm having a lot of fun making it. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Yeah, after today, there's gonna be another Steam freebie going up. That'll be fun. And then we're gonna go live with that game. I don't know if it's gonna be a good game. I just thought it looked cool. It looked stupid enough that I could probably stick around in it for like a couple hours. So yeah, but ultimately, the future goal for live streams and stuff are like games that I wouldn't be playing for these series. So like longer story games again. Like, 'cause when I first started doing streaming, it was a lot of the story games. Because I was like, I didn't want to make like 30-part episode series. I did that with Stray, and I didn't really enjoy doing. I feel like it kind of ruined the Stray experience for me, and I know some people didn't really like it, so they didn't see it. I don't know when I looked at it, which is completely fine. I don't really give a shit. But yeah, breaking up me playing it into little segments was a little bit funky. I feel like it could work, but I just don't. I don't like it. So I'm saving those sort of games for stream. So it just be big chunks of me playing it. I have a few in mind. I can't remember any of them though. Which is the problem that we have here. I have an idea of a game I want to play, and then it's gone the next day. But no, I have a lot of game options and ideas for streams and stuff. I just haven't gotten around to it. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun regardless, whatever the fuck we do. But yeah, so eventually more long or story games are going to be played live. So stay tuned for that. That should be fun. But I'm having a lot of fun regardless. So whatever we wind up playing is whatever we wind up playing. I've been playing a lot of Goat Simulator. And that's been fucking fun, dude. I love that. That's been a ton of fun. But yeah, so I'm gonna shut up about that, and we're gonna get into the actual topic for today, which isn't. I don't even know how to. I feel bad calling it a topic. The Star Wars. My thought process was I looked around my room thinking of things I could talk about. I saw my Star Wars posters and like decor in my room, and I was like, man, what would the best Star Wars movie be? That's what we're gonna be talking about today. What could the perfect Star Wars movie be? I don't have anything written for this, by the way, so this is just gonna be fucking awful. But yeah, it just piques my interest because it's like, I love Star Wars. I genuinely do. I've seen all the main movies. I've seen like the first season of The Mandalorian, and I watched like the Star Wars Clone Wars stuff, the Bad Batch stuff, and I think Rebels. A lot of Star Wars. I've consumed a lot of Star Wars media, even some books, if you can believe that. No, me and books. Somehow, you think it would come across more in the way I speak, but you'd be dead wrong, mister. But yeah, what am I fucking saying? What's wrong with me? So yeah, Star Wars. I know a lot of Star Wars. I don't know a lot of like the deeper lore. Like it's weird. I feel like a lot of things that I like and I get my friends into, they wind up getting way more into it than I ever will. Like with Warframe, you know, like I didn't really play. I played Warframe, and then my friends saw it, and then I showed them the game, and they played it. One's played it twice as much as I have. One's played it 4 times as much as I have, and he's still playing it to this day, which is scary and sad because I accidentally pushed him back into it. Oops. But another thing is Star Wars, because I know a lot of the basic stuff. I know some more, like some of the species and some of the deeper lore and stuff, but ultimately I'm kind of just one of the I like to just spread my net wide, so I'm a big fan of a lot of things, and I know a lot of base knowledge about things I like. One of my friends didn't really care much for Star Wars until a few years ago, where he then proceeded to binge like every series, every movie, played like every game. He knows like every species, he knows every like subgenre of every little thing, he knows some of the plants, the planets, he knows like fucking everything now. Which is just kind of funny. Just cause not making fun of him, I'm making fun more of myself, because I can't do that. I don't know why, but I don't do that. I like doing that. It's very fun. I love learning more. Like, I love learning. Learning's one of my favorite things to do. It's just such a great pastime. I'm learning banjo right now. It's actually going pretty well. I haven't done it live in a while, but it's actually going pretty well. I'm having a lot of fun getting the chords down. I feel like we have a fair amount of progress. I've been practicing like a little bit every other day, at least, which is a lot better than I could say for most of the things I've tried to practice before. But yeah, like I love learning shit, so it's good fun. And I like to spread a wider net. So once I feel like I've kind of gained a baseline understanding of something, I tend to just go away from it. But with that said, I do still have a fair amount of knowledge. Like, I do have specific things that I like. I have specific things I don't like about Star Wars. So I figured, why not come up with the best movie, the best era, the best plot line, the best characters, everything. I feel like that could be a fun, stupid idea. I guess we can talk about what I think my favorite movie is first. Just cause. I mean, if I were to tell you my favorite media from Star Wars, it would probably be the Clone Wars TV show. If I'm being completely honest, like the movies are great, but something about a TV show gives you a lot more chance to to build character and build lore and everything. And it just it was a very good show. Like, even when they brought it back for the final season, they kept the goodness of the show, which I don't think anyone was expecting at all, because it was like years afterwards, which is really good. I'm very glad about that. It was very cool. I love that show. It's awesome. I love that era in general, the prequel era, with all like the droids and shit. General Grievous is still probably my favorite villain. Second, maybe Thrawn. I love Thrawn. Rebels Thrawn really fucking... I just love a tactical son of a bitch. And somehow I love cool robot man with 4 spinning light swords more, though. So, sucks to be them. Third's probably the Droideka, not even like Darth Vader or something. Like, I love Droidekas. Like, that was always my favorite thing as a kid. And that was my favorite thing to play when I played Battlefront 2, which I really want to play again. But I don't have it installed because like 90 gigabytes. And I'm fucking playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my friends, so I needed some space. Too many games are taking up too much space on my computer nowadays, and I hate it. I need to get more space, but I keep forgetting to, and it's also fairly expensive, so if I don't need to do it, I'm not gonna do it. But I'm starting to need to do it, because also there's some ideas for videos that I have, like bigger projects that I definitely don't have the space for. Like, I'm constantly writing like 30 gigabytes or less space, and a video of pretty much any size at this point takes up a fair amount of that. Like, even just recording an episode of Stranded Deep in conversation, it takes up like the video alone takes up like 12 gigabytes just for like the 45 minutes of me playing it. So it's a lot, and I'm asking a lot of my computer. But yeah, either way, that's not what we're here to talk about right now. I'm here to talk about the Star Wars. So if I were to say the best era, I would say prequel, because I do think that era is the best. Definitely, like, the general Clone Wars era, I feel like would probably make the best movie, just because there's a lot of action, there's a lot of likable characters from that time, even, like, the more known ones. And there's also just a lot of cool-ass robots, because nothing says space war more than clones and robots. You know, like, you have, like, the Rebels and the Empire, which, big respect to the Empire, Imperial Troopers. Love those boys. Love them specifically in Galaxy of Heroes, which is fucking horrible game, but it's great. It's good fun. But yeah, they're cool. The Resistance and the First Order, I don't fucking give any amount of shit for. Like, I like those movies. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not like a sequel hater. I'm a very much so a sequel enjoyer. Not like I don't love the movies, but I enjoyed watching every single one. I mean, I remember going to the Force Awakens with my older sister, and it was such a good time. We went to theaters when it first came out, and it was fucking awesome. I love that. And then The Last Jedi, I did go to theater. I think I went to theaters with my friends to watch that one. And then The Rise of Skywalker, I went on my own because no one else was available and I wanted to watch it. And also, I just don't think anyone really wanted to watch it. But I did. And I loved it. I actually really enjoyed the movie. I didn't love it. I enjoyed the movie. I'm pretty easy to please. So honestly, anything like that was good fun. It's Star Wars. It updates some of the lore. Brings back some of the characters, tries to make you think it's killing off all the characters that you used to love. I don't know if that was like a spite thing, because everyone was so pissed off they killed Luke Skywalker. Like, oh, you're killing off all the old characters. They killed off Han Solo in The Force Awakens. Spoiler alert. When the fuck did The Force... Wasn't it 2015? It was 2015. Holy shit, I'm incredible. Yeah, that was 2015. Goddamn. Oh, man, that's sad. That's almost 10 years ago. Force Awakens almost 10 freaking years ago. It was a good movie. Like, this one I think was actually really good. I just wish they handled Han's death better. Like, they just showed like some people who barely knew him and when they died. Like, I feel like if like Han, Luke and Leia, or like Chewie was there, but Luke and Leia weren't. Like, that doesn't really make much sense for them not to be. Especially since I think Princess Leia was in the movie. So it's a weird choice. It was definitely a very strange choice. But whatever. So that wouldn't go in my movie. If anyone was going to die, I would want it to be actually thematic and cinematic. You know, like not just with random characters. Okay, well, that's just it. You know, like, death is a constant thing that happens with Star Wars movies. Important characters die left and right, especially with the prequel era. Like, the whole Fives thing with the Clone Wars towards the end of the show, like, Fives starting to, like, crack down on the project and understand what they're made for. That was an awesome series. That was an awesome subplot to that show, to the Clone Wars show, that I think could be implemented, but probably with a more important character, you know. So like someone starts figuring out a bit more of the pieces to the puzzle, you know. Like let's say like C-3PO accidentally gets downloaded like the entire plan of Palpatine, like his entire like Order 66 plan. He's like, good Scott, why, like he has the information. He's not like being taken over, so he's just like immediately met with all of this hell and trauma. And why would he want to do this? And obviously Palpatine knows because it was an accident, but like Anakin immediately goes and like grabs C-3PO out of his office or something, and he's like, "Come on, 3PO, we gotta go." He's like, "Okay, master," and then they walk away while Palpatine's just like, "Fuck, shit, I gotta kill that robot, I gotta kill that droid." And just the entire movie is like some Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner shit, where C-3PO is just barely evading Palpatine's murder plots. All the while he's trying to like explain to Anakin like, this is happening, what the fuck's going on, we're all gonna die, it's horrible. And he's like, what are you on about, you stupid robot? Just go make cupcakes for the senator, you stupid harpy. It's just that could be funny. I feel like that could make a good comedy, even if it's like a one episode thing from like a show, like just a show. But I could totally see that being like a 90-minute movie. And then it just ends with C-3PO either his memory getting wiped or just a thing gets deleted. Maybe like an actual wipe, you know, and like the one from The Rise of Skywalker. It wouldn't be a very canon movie. I don't think it needs to be canon though. Like, I don't think many of the video games are canon, technically speaking. Like, I don't know, actually. Like, that's genuinely, I have no idea. There's plenty of comic books that I don't know if they're canon or not. I don't even know if the Disney shit's canon or not anymore, man. It's weird. There's so many, like, subplots and stuff to it. I feel like Star Wars is very, I feel like there's a lot of series like that, where the communities kind of take it to their own to actually make it bigger and make it better. Like, I know, like, I don't follow anything Warhammer, but I know there's a lot of, like, Warhammer lore, Warhammer games, Warhammer, like, everything that just isn't really from the people who made Warhammer. But the community is just so in love with this, with the concept and everything about the lore, that they make their own, and they expand the universe themselves. Like, I feel like people tried doing that with, maybe they tried doing that with Marvel and stuff, but you can't really do that. And like, especially nowadays, Disney's making like 30 fucking Marvel movies and shows a year. Like, you can't. There's really no. Is that still happening? I know it was happening for a while when the streaming services and shit just came out. I guess became a popular thing. It's 9:30. But yeah, it's just a strange thing. It's a very, very strange thing. What the hell was I even fucking just talking about? I'm really bad at remembering things. Even that was literally a minor inconvenience, and I forgot what I was talking about. Streaming services and shit, yeah. So like, I feel like Marvel, it's a lot harder to just create some sort of lore. I feel like they kind of already fleshed out, at least to a basic level, a lot of their characters and shit, and a lot of their timeline. So it's kind of hard to include stuff in the intermediate without it just feeling like a, oh, here's one Tuesday where Spider-Man wasn't doing anything evil. He was actually just making cupcakes with Mary Ann, or Mary Jane, not Mary Ann. But yeah, like it just feel more fanficky and like in a weirder way. Like Star Wars, you can kind of get away with a lot. I feel like any series that can get away with a lot of just people are dead well before you even know they exist, and I feel like Marvel doesn't fit that bill. Star Wars definitely fits that bill. There's so many. They introduce so many characters, and they kill off so many characters. It's very funny. It's very good stuff. So I expect at least 5 deaths, and at least 1 death to be to blind Han Solo in my movie. Boba Fett, where? And he just smacks him. I want that. I want that exact scene. In fact, no, that's gonna be part of the movie. That's gonna be literally. We're gonna strip down that movie, like which I can't remember names of movies. Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, where Boba Fett is just obliterated by Han Solo. I want to take that scene and just like Photoshop a different character on top of it, and then like AI generate maybe Han Solo. Or I could just say it. It doesn't have to be the actor for Han Solo. It could just be me or anyone just being like, General Grievous where? And he's just, Han Solo smacks him, and General Grievous just gets fucking tossed into a Sarlacc pit. All will go or however the hell he speaks. I feel like Han Solo would be in the movie, even if he's not supposed to be. I feel like he just should be. You know, I said prequel era. I guess Han Solo. No, not really. I was gonna say the Solo story, but I don't think that was still when the Empire was around. But just throw Han Solo in there anyway. I feel like it just makes sense. He's cool. I like Han Solo. Solid character. I want him in there. If there were to be 5 main characters from the series that I would want in the movie, I would probably say C-3PO, because again, that Emperor Palpatine subplot. So I guess Palpatine would have to be there too, which is perfectly fair. He's pretty much there all the time. Han Solo, General Grievous, and who would the last one be? I like Luke, but I don't really like Luke that much. He's not that. He's not that important. He's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, I feel like there should be a Darth Vader lightsaber scenario again. But instead of just like one hallway, it was just like a 10-minute scene of him just going around and just stabbing people. Like, not even coolly. Just like he'll like walk up behind people and just turn on his. He'll put the lightsaber to someone's back, turn it on, have it stab through their freaking chest, turn it off, and walk away. Just 10 minutes of that with no dialogue at all. No dialogue, except for like a faint. He's just faint in the background. Here's C-3PO getting chased by Palpatine, and you just hear little shocks to the ground, like, come here, C-3PO's like, oh, stop, help. But no one's paying attention because he's a little busy, you know. Vader's a little busy, and I guess Vader's just in the movie, even though that's also supposed to be prequel. Lots of prequel stuff that's not really prequel stuff. I like that idea though. It's a nice little mesh of everybody kind of showing up at once. It could be like a droid-based movie. You know, I feel like there's too many movies that center around the Jedi of the group. I want there to be like a more like droid series, which might even be a thing. I don't really know, but I feel like a droid movie would help. Like R2-D2 and C-3PO save Harley. I almost said Harley Quinn, but like save the world. You know, they're just like they're being chased down by General Grievous and their army of B1s and droidicas and shit, all the while just trying to get like Senator Amidala her Taco Bell order or something, you know, like just something crazy, just something wild. Because, well, that was a long time ago. Taco Bell only exists now, so that would never happen. It'd have to be like a Chiquita banana or something like that. It would have to be like a much more. It wouldn't. It couldn't be a brand name. But they could probably get a sponsor in there. I mean, like, what food probably existed a long time ago and in galaxies far away? McDonald's probably branched out. Like, they probably have a time machine and, like, a space pusher. You probably just sent one guy with the idea of a franchise and just put him in a little rocket and said, we'll see you never, but you'll see yourself in thousands of years. What happens if you get sent back in time? Like, if you get sent back in time in a rocket, thousands of years into the past, and you're just like, you eventually land, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna sit right here. In thousands of years' time, do you come back again? How does that make sense? I feel like that could totally be a plot. Obi-Wan's trying to go back to Naboo. You can really tell that I am a big fan of the Star Wars, but that could be a great movie. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is heading back to Naboo with plans of seeing Grandmaster Yoda for some important business meeting. It's probably something to do with taxes, and he takes his rocket and he's about to land. But suddenly he either sneezes or like, I don't know, someone like Asajj Ventress stabs his little one of his thrusters, or maybe like a rock falls in. Like he's about to land and like a bunch of the blast from him landing is kind of like pushing a bunch of stuff around, and then somehow pushes a rock up into the thruster, and it sends him fucking flying thousands of years into the past, or even the future, into the future. Because then Obi-Wan can come to today, and he can just be walking around New York City. That's perfect. And at this point, everyone. But would this be a world where they don't know about Star Wars, though? That's the thing. He's like, what if they know? What if we know what happened with him? He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know yet. Because it didn't happen for him. So he winds up seeing, like, the Star Wars movies. He's like, what is that? Who is that? They're holding a lightsaber. They see, like, a Darth Vader statue outside, like, Times Square. And, like, who is that? They're holding one of our lightsabers. And then he finds, like, some... The guy who plays, the guy who... What the hell was his name? I don't remember. Just get Danny DeVito. When in doubt, just get Danny DeVito to be a funny little sidekick guy. Just have Danny DeVito be like, oh, that's Darth Vader. He's super evil. Like, they can't know it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or can they? Should they? Should they know? No, they shouldn't know. They shouldn't know until they see his lightsaber come out. Like, he's using a lightsaber. He's like, yeah, it's Darth Vader. Everyone knows Darth Vader. Star Wars. He's like, what's Star Wars? And they bring him in to, like, a big old comic book area, like a nerd store, you know, like, nerds, am I right, guys? But, yeah, they go to, like, a comic book store or a movie store or whatever. Or just a movie theater that just happens to be showing all the Star Wars movies back-to-back in chronological order. And then you see them get out of you see, like, Obi-Wan looking at the movie, and it's like, this is impossible. How do they document this? Are they watching us? And then they see all the aftermath of what happens. Like, is that just, like, fiction? That can't be real. He's like, yeah, it's just fiction. But it's like, yeah, it happened a long time ago. Because he sees it in the beginning of every movie. It happened a long time ago. So he's like, oh shit, I must have been blasted into the future. I know what happens. I need to get back. I need to save my friends. And then Danny DeVito is just like, well, what do you mean save your friends? What are you talking about, guy? You just heard about these movies, and suddenly you know everything about it. And then he's like, you don't understand, Danny, or whose name will probably be like Vincenzo. That's me on the movie. He's like, yeah, you're full of shit. And then Obi-Wan busts out his lightsaber, turns it on, and he's like, that's a good prop, you know, pretty good. And then he slices off Vincenzo's arm. He's like, what the fuck? Oh my god! How can you? Why would you do that? And then he believes him. So then they have to spend their entire time. First, they have to find their rocket because it definitely got taken away from the U.S. government. It was like, holy shit, there's a rocket, but they didn't find anyone inside. They have to go to Area 51 and get their rocket back, where they also find Jar Jar Binks, because he's an alien, and he has to make a cameo. Everyone loves Jar Jar Binks. So Jar Jar Binks shows up, he's got the thing, he's like, oh, Obi-Wan! And then of course, Dan DeVito's still with him. He's like, holy shit, he's real? Why of all people it had to be Jar Jar Binks? That's real. But he's also still definitely shackled and in chains and shit. So you can't really save Jar Jar Binks because he's got other things to do. But just know he could save Jar Jar Binks, but he chooses not to. But eventually they kind of sort of weasel their way around Area 51. They probably kill some people along the way. Danny DeVito probably just starts blasting like Danny DeVito does. And then as they approach the spaceship, they see a bunch of like guards come around and circle them in the spaceship, and they knock both of them out. And then the scene from Return of the Jedi plays with Han Solo. Instead of Han Solo, you like crudely put Obi-Wan's face on Han Solo, and Chewbacca is then replaced with Danny DeVito as Vincenzo. And he's like Obi-Wan, and you have Obi-Wan's voice actors being like, who's the bad guy? Who would wind up being in control of Area 51 here? It could be Thrawn. I like Thrawn. Thrawn's a good character, but I kind of like the idea. Just Anakin, Anakin, what? And he smacks, but no, it wouldn't be Anakin. It would have to be like, could be Grievous, Could be Asajj. It could be Cad Bane. Oh, Cad Bane. Cad Bane for sure. It's gotta be Cad Bane. So Cad Bane kidnaps him. He's like, oh, instead of Jabba, it's just a really big. Well, I guess instead of Boba Fett, it would be Cad Bane. But who would be the main person who kidnapped him? Instead of Jabba, it could just be Jabba. It might just have to be Jabba because I don't think we can Photoshop anybody else into that big old seat of theirs. So, yeah, ultimately, Cad Bane is the Jabba's right-hand man instead of Boba Fett. Cad Bane gets knocked into a Sarlacc pit, and then it just jumps back into New York City, where they go back through Area 51. All the guards are gone because they all left to go watch them die. And they missed the bus that Obi-Wan and Vincenzo took, so now they have to wait another like 12 minutes. So they have some time. So they get into the facility. They grab their rocket, and this is like a really intense moment with Vincenzo because he doesn't know. He's formed a super strong bond at this point with Obi-Wan Kenobi that he doesn't know if he should leave with him on the ship. And he's like, oh man, I really want to go with you, Obi-Wan. This is my everything. Because of course Vincenzo is going to be like the biggest Star Wars fan known to man. That's just a given. And he's like, this is everything I could have ever wanted. But I don't know. I've got kids and a wife and everything. And Obi-Wan's like, I understand. And then as he turns around, he sees Vincenzo strapped in to the rocket, like, let's go! And they rocket back in time. Well, at least I should say they try to rocket back in time. Because, again, they didn't mean to do it the first time. So they try to fly, and they're like, we're going too slow. How are we supposed to breach the time barrier? And Vincenzo's like, oh, well, how did you do it the first time? And he's like, I think I tried landing, and something landed in the thruster. He's like, oh, I gotcha. And he puts on, like, a spacesuit. A perfect NASA spacesuit that, of course, Obi-Wan would have inside of his spaceship. And he does, like, a little quick moonwalk. Or, like, a spacewalk, I should say. Not a moonwalk. There's a spacewalk along the ship, takes his sandwich wrapper that he just finished eating in the ship, and balls it up and just chucks it into the thruster, and then the thruster turns off, and he's like, oh, uh-oh. But then it starts, like, growing back with power, like, it seems like it's turning more on. He's like, oh, thank goodness I didn't break it. And then he's like, yes, it's working, because it's starting to get, like, a lot of power, and it's a lot. Then, like, it gets so huge of a flame that it just blasts them into the past again, with Vincenzo just holding on for dear life to the spacewalk rope as he's just getting chucked thousands of years into the past. Which probably takes thousands of years to experience. I don't know how that works. But either way, they get there, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, we made it back. And they grab Vincenzo, who's definitely just fucking wiped out. Not dead, but he felt some vertigo from this space adventure. And then Obi-Wan's is like, all right, well, let's go. We have to go tell everybody about what the hell happens to us. And he's like, and Vincenzo's like, screw that, I'm gonna go bang an alien. And he goes up to an alien in a bar, and the first thing he does, he's like, hey, sexy. And he turns up that he's talking to a guy, alien, who proceeds to shoot him in the chest, and Vincenzo dies immediately upon going into the past. But either way, Obi-Wan then is just like, typical, and walks away, and just goes to try to solve whatever problems were happening. But then as Vincenzo dies, he turns into a Force ghost, because turns out Vincenzo, if he was in the past, would have been a Jedi himself. And then he's actually really mad about it. He's like, what? I'm a ghost? I could have been a Jedi. I went the wrong path, clearly. And he's just like, listen, man, I love this series. You can't ruin it. You can't change the past based off of the future. You just can't. It's just I love this show. I love these movies, and you're going to take them away from me if you do this. And he's like, I don't care. Millions of people are going to die. And so the rest of the movie, this is probably like third act, second act, maybe. The rest of the movie is basically just Danny DeVito as Vincenzo, of course, trying to sabotage every time Obi-Wan tries to tell everybody about these plans. Like, he'll go into the middle of town with a megaphone, and he's like, I have something very important to say. I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I've been to the... And then he, like, force ghosts the batteries out of the megaphone. Like, you can kind of just see him unscrewing the bottom of the megaphone, and all the batteries pop out, and so no one can hear what he's saying, and they all go back to their lives. He can go to, like, Padme and Anakin and be like, I have something very important to say, and then he gets a full frontal wedgie from Danny DeVito. You know, just stupid shit like that for the rest of the movie. It's very much so played off as a comedy. I think it could actually work very, very well. I think it could work fantastically, especially with the cameo of Jabba the Hutt. I feel like no one would expect that. But yeah, and then the movie ends with him realizing, okay, obviously, changing the course of the future is bad. So he just doesn't change the future at all. He's like, you know what, we're gonna let this happen. And then Vincenzo's like, yippee! And then he just kind of fades away because his ghost purpose has been fulfilled. And he never is heard of again. And that's why you never hear of Vincenzo in the future whenever Obi-Wan is talking about his crazy adventures. Because I think what probably happens is Vincenzo, as he drifts away, he takes away all the memories of Obi-Wan going to Earth and in thousands of years into the future and seeing this. He doesn't experience this at all. None of this even happens to Obi-Wan in his mind because Vincenzo stole it from him. And then Obi-Wan just kind of lives life as he lives with his gang of criminals and ne'er-do-wells known as Jedi. And just the story continues normally. So it can all technically exist within the canon of the world because it's just a typical Tuesday, you know, where like Spider-Man just goes to make cupcakes with Mary Jane, you know, it's like that. It's just a random like couple days of hell for Obi-Wan. But for everyone else, because he's traveling for so long, it goes back and forth. He kind of like goes back in time a little too much, so he winds up actually not missing any of the appointments he was supposed to make with anybody at all, and actually everything's fine. No one even realizes he was gone. I feel cut. End. There's my pitch. I think that might be the best Star Wars movie the world has ever seen. Just imagine that. I imagine Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then Danny DeVito as Vincenzo, just trying to save Star Wars, basically. Like, Obi-Wan needs to get his way back, and then Vincenzo is trying to keep Star Wars alive. Because if you were to change the past, then those movies wouldn't be able to be told in the same way, you know? Like, I feel like that's a really great idea for a movie. I kind of want to see that. I want that to become a movie now. I would love that. That would be so cool. I'm literally just thinking, like, could I make that movie? No, is the answer to that question. I don't have any of the rights, the actors, or even the skill to make a movie or a script or anything for that matter. But at least I can probably do that one scene with the Return of the Jedi Jabba the Hutt scene. I could probably make that. I could probably do that. I don't know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that at some point. I'm just gonna have that clip post randomly, and just not even like a scheduled thing. Just like 3:37 p.m. on like a Tuesday. I'll just be like, oh yeah, here's this. It's just like the 2 minutes clip. Everything's the same for the clip except Han Solo is replaced with Obi-Wan Kenobi's face. Chewbacca is replaced with Danny DeVito, and then Cad Bane is there instead of Boba the Fett. And then no one knows. No one has any idea what the fuck it's supposed to mean at all. I think that is a great idea. I'm gonna put a pin in that. That is awesome. I love this. This is a great idea. This is a great topic. I don't know why I thought it would be horrible. This is fantastic. So, in my heart, in my truest of mind and belief, that is the best Star Wars movie that could ever exist. But somewhere in there, I think, you know what, no, it's just fine, because somewhere in there you can still have, like, Emperor Palpatine chasing C-3PO. I feel like that could totally still be implemented into the movie. Probably, like, when he comes back, and, like, he only tells C-3PO. He only tells C-3PO. It's like with R2-D2 with Leia, where they put in like the Death Star blueprints. C-3PO gets inputted by Obi-Wan like the plans for Order 66. And he's like, what the hell? No, that can't be. And then Emperor Palpatine finds out, and he's just constantly chasing C-3PO around until eventually he does hit them, and then the memory gets wiped, and then C-3PO's like, what happened? Hello, Chancellor. And he's like, hello, boy. Robot boy. I feel like that could totally be a thing. That could totally be like a B-plot. A B-plot to the B-plot of this B-plot movie. Great idea. Fantastic idea. I'm so glad this is a thing. It's not a thing, though, and I'm upset it's not a thing. But I want it to be a thing so bad. That's the thing, man. If I try to imagine something like that, I need to be able to put it to work. It needs to be a thing now. Like, I'm not gonna stop thinking about it until it's a thing. And it's never gonna be a thing, which is the sad thing. But either way, if you guys have any wacky ideas for a Star Wars movie, could be a serious one too. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go wacky. I was totally gonna be like a fairly serious movie, but this is a much better idea, much better movie in every way. Very happy with it. I love this idea. It's a great movie. In theaters, never, but maybe someday. I'm hoping for eventually. That'd be pretty cool. Danny DeVito has to survive, so that's to be pretty soon, I imagine. But either way, that's all for today. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Stranded Deep in Conversation, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.